And man, we have a crew today. That's right. We still have my boys, Jordan and Joshua up in here. And man, we have the man, the myth, the legend, John P. coming with it. About to talk about them boys and that Philly game. That's right, that game coming tomorrow. And we have some doubters again today. Just like we had last week, we got them again today. But that's okay though, that's all right. Because we're gonna make some Tweety Bird out of them Eagles. You better believe it. And if you don't think so, then sit back, watch how we do it. Because that's what we do. Because we them boys. And we about to make some solid moves. Yeah, McCarthy, he's gonna do it. He's gonna make the right moves. Because you know why? Because that's what we do. How about them Cowboys? But we got to start with these injuries, though, because those injuries is bad, and that's going to be the deciding of the game. And I'm hoping that something comes in our way. We get that O line coming. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I don't know what's happening. So Joshua, come on, let me know what's going on with that O line. What's going on with these injuries today?
All right, so we have Truman Conor Smith. Truman Doga Smith with us as limited game, so that's good for the Lakers screen. Some good news for you Dallas Cowboys fans is that Conor Smith has been upgraded to limited game staff from Thursday to Friday. So depending on Saturday walkthrough, which will issues, they will be suiting up for Saturday. So some number of updates for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? So you got your Kyler Grant, Alcantara, he's going to be out. I guess he's in concussion protocol. Cam Perkins, your guard, he's going to be out too. He's got a foot injury. And your slot corner for the Philadelphia Eagles, Bradley Robbie, he's going to be out too. I guess shoulder injury. And for personal matters, Boston Scott is also going to be out. So our season for the Eagles.
Okay, so with that, with those injuries we see, you think that we still have an edge? What we have and those injuries, did it make it even? What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I think it's still going to be, a slugfest. I think these teams are well evenly matched. With our injury, I think they might have a slight advantage just with our O-line injury woes, but I still think this is going to be a close game.
Yeah? What do you think about that, John?
I heard this week that Jalen, he has got like a deep knee bruise or something, some kind of bone bruise, so he's not been running as much, even though if you watch him walk, he looks like he's fine, but they did notice over the last couple of games he hasn't been running as much, which I think does help us, because I think a less mobile Jalen definitely benefits our secondary and our ability to be able to get to him. I think if you watch the last couple of games, it seems like he's scarier when he scrambles than if he just stands back there and throws it. Because when he just stands back there and throws it, I feel like we're in a pretty good spot right there based on our amount of pressure we can bring and our strong secondary. But if he gets out of that pocket and can scramble around a little bit, that's his game. And it's kind of that backyard football kind of stuff, and he just lights people up.
Would you consider did you guys consider Jalen an accurate quarterback?
I think I think he's somewhat accurate, right?
Somewhat.
I mean, he's not like your Patrick Mahomes of the world, but he's a zip code quarterback. Like he'll get in the area, right? If you have fantastic receivers like AJ Brown, right, or anybody that can take the top off like a Devontae Smith, right, he's going to be very successful, right? So as long as he gets it in the area, you're not going to see these super. I mean, every now and then you'll see tight window throws from him. I mean, he's an NFL quarterback. Okay, he's an NFL starting quarterback, so you'll see it, but not as consistently as you would some of the more established quarterbacks of the NFL or the quarterbacks that's been in the NFL for a while. So it'll come in due time. But as far as now goes, his best ability is his dual threat, right, and just getting into the zip codes. And if you add receivers that are like Adrian Brown, Devontae Smith, I think he will be very successful. But when you're saying accurate, like I don't think that is really his forte.
So as a quarterback, he's not that accurate. That's what you're saying.
As accurate as like the Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's
But when you say as Patrick Mahomes, huh?
they were 7-1, and he can throw for like some touchdowns, but it also has to deal with the fact that you have AJ Brown, right, and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, right. So you have a very stout receiving core, and if you have somebody that's NFC Player of the Month as a receiver, 700 yards for 1 month. I mean, yeah, you're going to be somewhat successful. Right? So, I mean, AJ Brown can get it anywhere. He can get it anywhere in the zip code.
Okay, I mean that's funny how you say that. You know what I'm saying? So in Jordan, I see you have that face on. You know what I'm saying? Like either you're not believing what he's saying, or I mean, come on, tell me what you got.
I I don't believe in Jalen's arm. I think that's what makes him really good is the fact that he is able to scramble. That takes away from his deficiencies of being able to make those tight window throws and those. I mean, look what the Jets did. The Jets picked him off 3 times. Why? Because one they had great, and I think that's where a lot of these other teams lack is they don't have the capability of having for Pro Bowl corners on both sides. And I think when you in having pressure up front, I think when Jalen has to throw, and is going against top 10 defenses, I see the deficiencies in his arm and his more so in his accuracy. Also, he's they run so much, so they limit his throws, so he doesn't have to make that many throws. So there are times where the stats skew to his favor in terms of accuracy. So accuracy by numbers, you would look and you would see like last season and this season saying, he's somewhat accurate, but if you go and dive deep into every throw that he makes, is he accurate? I would say, like Josh says, like he has the benefit of having AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, now Julio Jones, and Dallas Goedert, where they're gonna, especially AJ Brown, like he's gonna snag everything down. But if you look at like deep ball throws to Devontae Smith, a lot of them he's overthrowing or underthrowing him.
Okay, all right.
He could have way more touchdowns if he would hit Devontae Smith a lot of the time. Devontae Smith gets open just by running that.
Oh,
Me personally, and that's I don't know.
okay, all right. Okay, but then looking at reality, he about to go against our defense, John. So based on what we were just talking about, can we do something? Can we contain him on our defense? Because this is reality. We're not talking about numbers. We're talking about what can we contain him tomorrow.
So he's an average pocket passer in my mind. I mean, what makes his game is the ability to kind of backyard football kind of plays is where he scares me. If this knee injury is a thing, if it's legit, and our defensive ends kind of set the edge and make sure they maintain containment. In other words, don't let him get outside. Keep him in that pocket. I'll let him stay in there all day long against me. I think he's always good for 1 or 2. He's got like 8 interceptions this year, so he's been kind of giving them up a little bit. He threw 3 in their only loss this year, so he will give you some. But I think you keep him in that pocket, I like my chances. I'll let him throw it from back there all day long because I feel like we can get some pressure. So he's not going to be comfortable back there throwing. He's not going to be necessarily step into every throw, even though he is a really strong kid. I mean, I think he can squat like a Mack truck. So I mean, he's got strong legs, he's got a strong arm.
Right.
But I just feel like he just doesn't. He's not a pure pocket passer like a Mahomes or the kid from Cincinnati.
Barros.
And those types. He's just that's not his game. But if we can take what is his game away from him and keep him in that pocket, I like my chances.
Right.
I think look, this might be controversial, but I think Lamar Jackson is an even better thrower and pocket quarterback than Jalen Smith. That doesn't hurt. The Jalen Hurts. I just don't. It doesn't hurt me. Like John said, if he's in the pocket, like I'm like, hey man, that's more beneficial, more for us, especially with the way Deron Bland's plays, and we have a Hall of Fame Stephon Gilmore on the other side. It's gonna be a dogfight with those receivers, but I'll take my chances.
Right. Okay. All right. Um, that's hard for me to. I want to go to another subject, but I just want to stay there just a little bit more because um, every time I hear people talk online, I look at the talk shows, the sports analysts, and they're talking about we're not going to be able to disrupt their O line because their O line is so tough. We're not going to, in fact, somebody here believes that their O line is just that much great. So I'm going to go with you, Joshua. Do you think our defense can disrupt this O line?
Just go my past experiences. They It depends on who's healthy and who's not healthy. I mean, if they see a weak spot, they're going to exploit it. But for the most part, these O linemen are. I mean, they're Pro Bowl players for a reason, right? I mean, when you have like your Malatas of the world, your Lane Johnsons, your Kelseys, right? I mean, these guys are as good as it gets in the NFL. There's a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles are the top O line in the NFL. These guys are Pro Bowls, all Pro players, too, like that. And you can stunt, but the problem about stunning recurs of D line is there leaves gaps open in stunts, right? So meaning like, hey, going from the outside of a defensive end, going from the outside and going into like a gap, right? That's stunning right there instead of just just going straight forward, right? It's almost like tricking the offense. So when you do that, you leave those gaps that you're originally signed to open, and they can exploit that on you. So Philadelphia Eagles their strength is the run offense, right? So if their run offense gets going, right, now you don't know if there's going to be run or pass because that sets up the play options. Now you have people thinking. You don't want your defensive players to think. You just want them to do, right? You think that causes more time for Jalen to be in the pocket and throw to your A.J. Browns of the world, your Devontae Smiths of the world, your Dallas Goederts, or your the new pickup from Atlanta. Who's the new pickup from Atlanta? Off-name receiver. So, yeah. So you don't want that to happen. I'm pretty sure Dan Quinn has some answer for it, but right now I'm just kind of skeptical in how they're going to attack that offensive line because the game's in one of the trenches.
Okay. All right. So this is just funny because go ahead, John.
Offensive line. I mean, I know they got. I mean, they got on the right tackle. I mean, he's like all world. I mean, he's probably the best right tackle in all the NFL. And we all know what Kelsey is. But I think the guy on the left, apparently his footwork is not that great. Apparently he can be beat, and the two guards are average. So I think the stunts can work, but you got to get them against their weakest links. You can't be trying to run. If you're wasting time with Parsons on the right against that all-world tackle, I think you're wasting your time. I mean, you go to where their weaknesses are. I know in the Philadelphia media they're concerned about Dallas' speed and how quick they are on defense, and they feel like that Dallas can expose some things with that. But Dan Quinn being the DQ mastermind that he is on defense, I think he can definitely find some ways to get some pressure. And again, if Jalen can't run, and that's a big if.
Right.
If he can't run, then
right.
he's going to be on the spot. And you're going to know where he's going to be. And I think you get a great opportunity to really apply some pressure, maybe get some cheap turnovers off of him. But Parsons had a lot of success coming at the centers. Now, I mean, he hadn't played a caliber center like Kelsey, so I mean, it's not going to be like it was last week when he just blew by him a couple of times. But I think he can expose a little bit. If nothing else, you just break it down a little bit, and then maybe somebody else gets there.
Yeah, that was my thought process. I think we learned a lot from the 49ers game of not just sticking, just don't stick Parsons on their best left tackle all night. Move him around the line, find the weakest links. I think as good as Travis Kelce is, let's see how he does with. You have to worry about Parsons' speed coming straight at him, especially all game long. I think the Dolphins, they did some good things there as well. Even though they lost, they were able to get to Jalen 4 times that day. I would look at that. Some of maybe D Law, might have a big game this game and step up. We have so many different guys that can, when they put it all together, that can get to the quarterback. So I think it's going to be one of those days and one of those times where we're going to have to ask the other D lineman to step up and move Parsons around that O line, to disrupt. Especially if Jalen isn't feeling 100% and not able to just scramble out. I think it's pin your ears back and go.
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree with them. See, and that's what brings me to my next point, right? So if they're quick game, if they're gonna have to go in the quick game, if the Philadelphia Eagles gonna have to go in the quick game, they're gonna have to go to like their slot receiver, right? And you can play AJ Brown the slot, and I think that's where our Achilles heel, at least for this year, is, right? And as I spoke a lot of praise in the recent years about Jordan Lewis, right? But I think we all can agree, though, in regards to the secondary, that Jordan Lewis is probably the weakest link in that regards, right? And that's not saying that he's bad, but I just think that
Jordan Lewis is bad in turn, or I wouldn't even say bad. Is the weakest link on our defense. But if he was in anybody else's defense, I think he definitely could be starting. It's just we have a lot of talent that we never had before with our DBs. I don't even necessarily think he is the weakest link if we're just talking about DBs or corners. Because if we're talking DBs, I think corners. Yes, I mean he's third on the depth chart, but I think he's hit or miss. Like there's times in that game where he caught interceptions versus what was our last game? I think it was last game. He caught an interception. It was the Chargers game or the Eagles, not the Eagles game, the Rams game. Like, yeah, he'll get an interception, but then he might give up a touchdown. But if I had to have another slot corner, I'm dang near happy that we have Lewis.
I mean, yeah, but I just think that he, as you said, he can get beat on plays, right? And so that's what I'm saying. And funny that you said our secondary, because that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. So Jordan alluded to that. Our safeties are starting to get, we're starting to see a little bit of holes in their game, right? And that's going to be a very tough task. I won't say very tough task or the toughest task. The toughest task for the safeties was the 49ers game when you were going against George Kittle, right? That dude's just all world. I mean, he can get it. But the person that went to his school, right, literally was Dallas Goedert, right? So they're going to have their hands full with Dallas Goedert. Jaron Curse is going to have to step up. Malik Hooker is going to have to step up. And I think speaking of which, Juan Thomas is coming back. So that's a good thing for the safeties, right? So it means that you'll have depth there. So it means you don't have to be in there the whole entire time. You can get some rest in that regards. But as far as the D line, it starts up with the D line, and as Don was saying, that you're going to have to contain Jalen, right? And that's the only way to be successful in this game is that you have to contain Jalen. You're going to have to, as some people say, keep him in the wealth, right? You're going to have to keep him in the pocket. Right? Don't let him go outside. Don't let him go in. And I do believe we do have the speed in your Sam Williams, right? Sam Williams' last game was a gunner, by the way, running at 18.75 miles per hour. How many times have you seen a 265-pound, defensive end be a gunner? That just goes to show you how much speed that defensive line has on how much speed that's on the defensive line. And let's not even forget our unsung hero, right? DeMarcus Lawrence, right? So DeMarcus Lawrence is like number 5, number 4 in the NFL as far as PFF goes, as far as defensive end.
PFF. Just kidding. Just go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, he's a very good run stopper. Like, I know you don't see it on the as far as stats goes, but he's very good at run stopping. So thing is that you got the middle of the so your defensive tackles. So Hankins is going to have to step up. Miles Smith is going to have to step up too, right?
Bobby Smith.
But you've got somebody an up and coming. We haven't even talked about this guy right here. If there's going to be hope for this game, it's going to be Osa Odigizua.
I was
Right?
gonna say Odigizua. Yeah.
Osa Odigizua is the guy that he's been playing out of this world. Like he's not no longer those young bucks, right? Like you would like back in the day. It was like, oh, Gallimore, we're waiting for Gallimore to step up, and he really never like went to the next level. And it seems like Osa Odigizua is getting to the next level.
Okay,
So
but check this out though. Okay, 'cause what I'm hearing, it seems like the key for us to winning this game is our defense. 'Cause that's what you all three of you guys are saying. Because we're saying that if we contain Jalen, if we do this to their offense, their success should be very, very, very easy to come by. Is this what I'm
it's not
hearing?
just this game. It's
No,
all
no,
games.
no,
I mean,
no,
Mike
no.
McCarthy said it himself.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about this game.
The defense.
I'm talking about this game. I can care less about the game after this game. I'm talking about Philly tomorrow. Is it the defense? Is it the defense is going to give us success?
Defense.
I think-
The defense is always going to give you success. Sorry about
Yeah.
that, John.
Yeah, I think McCarthy calls his offense according to his defense. And he's really, last year when Prescott went out, they leaned on their defense the first 6-8 games of the year to basically win games for them. They haven't had to do that as much this year because the offense has been pretty productive and they've, had several blowouts, obviously. But I think Sunday for sure, you need that defense to get a lot of stops. You need Jalen in 3rd and 6 and longer. Definitely not at 4th and 2 because we all know they can pick that up every time just because of that crazy wedge play they got. But if you can keep them in 3rd and 6 or longer, and how you're going to do that is you got to stop them on, you got to limit first down pickups on running plays. And they got 3 quality running backs, and they know how to run the ball. And they also do those little short dump offs and things that are basically a running play. It's a long handoff. It's a forward handoff basically, but they run a lot of that kind of little stuff. But the defense has really got to focus on the run. I'm not saying you're going to stop them because you're probably not, but if you can keep them under 120, 130 yards, somewhere in there like that, and limit those first down plays where those big chunk, you don't want to be setting it 2nd and 2 because they just love that because they know they can pick up they'll throw 2 shots down the field because they know they can pick it up on 4th down with that wedge run that they got. But unfortunately, our defense for the last 4 or 5 years, what's everybody do to us in the big game? They run it, and they go, you know what? When you guys stop it, that's when we'll get worried. And in big games, more times than not, we've had a hard time stopping it. And then all that does is just play action and all the other trick stuff that they love to do. That's exactly what it's going to open up. So, I think the focus for the defense all week is, hey, stop the run first, stay in your lanes, keep containment, set the edge, and then we can get after the quarterback. But these guys, they love the sacks. So you got to stop the run if you even want the opportunity to stop the sacks.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go ahead.
I will
Go ahead,
say that
Jordan.
the past 3 games that we played, games, especially the Rams game, I thought the Rams, which they tried, but we shut down. We shut down the run, and normally the Rams run down our throats and run heavy down our throats. But last game they shut the run down. Even during the 49ers game, we just let other guys beat us. That we acted like Kelsey wasn't one of the premier tight ends, and he just went buck wild on us. But we held
McCaffrey?
we held
George Kittle? Oh, I thought you were going to say McCaffrey.
We held MC. What's the name? 49ers running back. We held him.
You talking about McCaffrey? McCaffrey?
On this day, under 70 yards.
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, sorry.
McCaffrey. Yeah, I think we held him to under 70 yards. Chargers game, we did a great job of shutting down Eckler. So I think, and I I believe that we're going to shut down the run. It's more so when it comes to these running quarterbacks, kind of like how Daniel Jones, like even though we shut them out that game, like that was the thing. Like he was running around picking up first down, especially last year. The same thing with Jalen Smith. Like we shut down the run, but we're kind of like letting the quarterback pick up these first downs or getting close, getting it a second and two, sorry, third and one. And I think that's what we gotta have great QB spies. We gotta, Bell's gotta step up. Our linebackers are gonna have to be very cognizant if Jalen, starts to scramble or look like he wants to scramble. And then our corners, they gotta stay on their mat. Even if Jalen does get out of the pocket and scramble, they gotta be aware of where their receivers are at all times. So they're gonna try to find that open pocket. But for me, I think that this game is going to come down to our offense. I think, and a lot of our losses have been determined by our offense. I think if our offense comes out sluggish, slow, lacking energy, I think it's going to be a long day for us. But if our offense comes out how they came out versus the Chargers and versus the Rams, I think it's going to be a great battle, and I think we'll come out on top. I think we got to kind of establish ourselves early, like we did during that Rams game, come out and put 7 up on the board quick, fast and in a hurry to kind of, let our defense go ahead and, get in tune and be able to do what they do. We've relied on our defense a lot this year, and I think that this is one of those games where offense is going to have to step up. The offense is going to have to step up, and and especially for to allow our defense to play how they want to play. I think the offense is going to have to step up in a major way.
Okay, based on what you're saying is because what John said earlier that McCarthy run plays based on how our defense plays. So, do you believe? Okay, for one, I do believe that we all believe that we have the talent to stop and disrupt Philly. I think what I want to know, the confidence level, do you guys think that our defense will stop them tomorrow? John?
40%.
I think
30%.
My confidence is at 85%. I'm not as confident as I was when we were us going into that 49ers game where I thought, hey, we're gonna do what we're gonna do.
Right.
All because when we do get overly confident or confident in our team, they tend not to show up.
What you got, John?
Yeah.
You confident?
This to me, this game right here is one of those mojo moments. This is where you decide, are we going to really be something this year, or are we just pretenders again?
Yeah.
If you come in here and win this game, even if you win it by 1 point, you just went on the road and beat what everybody considers to be the best team in the NFL. When everybody was kind of giving you you guys are okay, but we don't think you're really contenders. You go in there and win this game on the road, and if Philly doesn't just give it away. So if Philly has like 5, has a blocked punt and 3 or 4 interceptions, a fumble or something, that doesn't really count. But I mean, they play a good game, we play a good game, and we win. And I think that's, like I said, that mojo moment for this team this year, where they go, okay, we are really that good. That San Francisco thing, we just weren't prepared, we weren't ready, and now we know what we are. However, if you go up there and they just run it right down their throat for 200 plus yards, and we come out of there losing by 10 points or more, then I think that just sets us back even more than the San Francisco game set us back. But to answer your question, Bobby, I absolutely think they can do it. I mean, I think they have demonstrated over even this year that they stopped some good running backs and they stopped some good teams and made them one-dimensional. I think if you can stop the run enough to make them, like I said, keep them in that 3rd and 6th and longer, then I think we can get after it. And I think we can be there. I don't necessarily think we need to get up to a big lead, but we don't need to be playing from way behind. Because I think Philly would just love that, because then they can really come after us too. But if you can keep it close within even 10 points, but ideally within a touchdown, 1 score, where it's kind of going back and forth, then I like our odds of I like our chances, but I don't want to play from way. I don't want to get behind.
Yeah, especially get behind early, because it always goes
It
silent.
seems like we panic. It seems like we
Yeah,
panic.
exactly.
We forget all about what we are. We start, we
You know,
get a little bit.
right? What's crazy
We
is
throw the
that
ball maybe a little carelessly.
right. What's crazy is Dak used to be the champion of coming back to win game-winning plays. He was a champ back in his day. He had the most comeback lead champ, comeback wins quarterback for a while until he got hurt, I guess. But that was his thing. But here's something else that we talked about, John. We talked about this was a big conversation we had last week about the offense and is it a player issue or is it a coaching issue on our offense? Now I'm switching gears to offense now. Based on who we have, because in our trade deadline we didn't do anything, and Lord knows why we didn't do anything with that. But although I truly believe we needed to do something at trade deadline, but I think it's more. Until last week, I was thinking it's more coaching that was a hindrance of us on our offense than the actual players. Your thoughts?
On offense, you got the players in my mind. I mean, the offensive line. Let's take that aside for a second. But as far as playmakers, I mean, you got Brandon Cooks playing a little bit now. He's got touchdowns in 2 straight games. Seems like we figured out he's on the field. We should probably throw the ball to him. We got CD being CD all of a sudden. He's run after catches. I mean, he had a couple of sweet catches and then runs after the catch last week. And he seems like he can take a shot from the biggest guy on the field and just bounce right up, do his little first down little deal that he's got going on, and just pop right back in the huddle and say, "Throw it to me again, coach."
Right.
So I think you're starting to see some of that swagger a little bit. And then, Dak has been flashing rookie Dak out there a little bit. It's 3rd down and 6, and he's running for 15. He seems to be, I don't know, for a while there, it seemed like he would just go through, number 2 read, number 3 read, and then, just stay in that pocket to the last second. The last couple of weeks, at least in the Chargers game, the first hint of trouble, and the first read wasn't there, he's gone. And he's picking up 8, 10, 15, and it just keeps the change going. And it kind of I think it actually helps him put him in a rhythm more than anything else that he does, is if he runs for a big first down, it seems like that's what builds his confidence. Not, hitting a big ball down the field or something like that. I'm sure that pumps him up too. But it seems like for him to really be the Dak that we want him to be, he needs to run the ball and pick up a big first down or have a big running play for himself. That seems to be what gets him going. So now I'll get to the offensive line a little bit. I think Tyler Smith, where he's at, is a good spot. I think he's a natural guard. And Biotic makes me a little bit nervous because he's complaining about hamstrings. And, buddy, don't tell the Eagles that you got problems because they're going to come right at you. So you probably should keep that to yourself. If you got a sore hamstring, don't tell anybody.
Right.
Because they're going to be coming at you. I think Steele is still – I think he's still gimpy from that knee injury. They say those ACLs, it takes a full year. So I think he's at least another 6 to 8 weeks away from being the Terrence Steele that he was before he got hurt. Because if you remember, before he got hurt, he and the president were tearing it up on that right side on running plays. I mean, the two of them they just demolished people like a bulldozer. I think as far as the tackles go, in the pass defense or in the pass blocking, you can help them out a lot. You can chip them with a tight end. You can pop a running back over there to chip somebody. You can really help a tackle. But boy, your guard's got to be able to block because you can't really help them. And if the guard in the center can't keep that middle safe, then Dak's going to be running for his life. And where are you going to run to? The outside? You already know your tackles are not 100%. So, like I said, I think we got the playmakers. I think McCarthy needs to find a way to get Dak a running play right at the beginning. Maybe on a short yardage thing, maybe he just tells him, hey, look, first chance you get, you take a run just to build his confidence. And then once once he gets that confidence and I see rookie Dak, then all of a sudden I calm down. I don't get quite as excited. I was like, okay, we're going to be okay here.
Your
Yeah,
thoughts?
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
100% agree with that. I think we've been saying that for the past couple of years, like ever since Dak had that ankle injury, that he hasn't been the same, and he doesn't take too many risks with running it. But we do see, especially on those long drives that Dak's able to extend, a lot of the time, majority of the time, he's picking up, a few first downs here or there on his feet, keeping excuse me, keeping that drive alive. And so, yeah, 100%. And I think that's one thing, too, that Mike McCarthy's going to have to drop a couple plays for that.
So, yeah, I am too with that, the 100% agree as well. But one thing, what you're alluding to here, I think defense has found a way to attack this Cowboys offense in regards to Terrence Steele, right? So because of the fact that they're taking advantage of the gimpiness, so what your defensive ends would do, if they would go into like a wide nine, if you understand what I mean. So for all the listeners out there, wide nine meaning so instead of the defensive end going just outside the tackle, he's a little bit more outside of the tackle, whether it be on the right side or the left side. And so now the tackle has to be more athletic and has to explode out or pull out or push out to the right side or to the left side, right? So in that regard, so what happens is that your defensive end will go around Terrence Steele and with fourth Dak Prescott up into the pocket, which is not good. So if you have somebody like your Aaron Donalds of the world, which there's pretty much nobody, but if you have a very good elite defensive tackles, now those are pushing it in. So now he has nowhere to step and to throw the ball, right? And that was one of the reasons why Dak Prescott threw that interception towards the goal line. And there's another reason why he got sacked in the first quarter. So that's something that they're going to have to look out. One thing to counteract that is to put your running back to the outside, right? So let him chip, like as John was saying, let him chip. Gives Dak a little bit more time to either run out or pull out or step into the pocket if he needs to be step in the pocket. Let him get like some breathing room to throw up. But if you wanted to put a defense against that, that's one way to do. So I think this line has their work cut out for them because you have your Hassan Reddicks, your Jalen Carters of the world, right? Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, they're a stout defensive interior, right? And then I forgot the guy that was on the left side, but he is dominant as well. So these, from the left to the right, they're going to have their work cut out for them. And these guys can beat you. They are bringing it home. They are built to beat that behind. Okay, so you're going to have to come in, and they're going to have to come in, and they're going to have to, like, be on their A game. If they're not on their A game, it's going to have to scramble out, and he's going to have to figure out ways to scramble. So, which I think they do have ways, but I'm not overly convinced that they actually have a lot of answers for those type of stunts. So, yeah.
You know who we haven't talked about who really needs to have a big game for a change is Tony Pollard.
Yes.
He's been awful quiet, and that guy is explosive, and he doesn't look like he's got anything holding him back from that injury. He looks healthy. I mean, he looks just as fast. He looks just as quick. I mean,
I think it's play calling
lingering there, but they just haven't found a way to get him either. You know, he dropped that little screen pass probably last week. He probably would have scored a touchdown on. He kind of bobbled the ball a little bit. By the time he corralled it, the defense got him. So that was probably his chance to, kind of get a touchdown. But it seems like he's just been kind of the forgotten guy here all of a sudden.
But yeah, well, and I think it's because of the play calling. That's what I think. I think because they're not giving it, they're not putting him in a position to excel. That's my truth. When I see the plays that they giving him in the backfield, and he get caught in the backfield. And so now we playing 2nd and 12, and I'm like, why are you calling these plays? I mean, there's so many things you could do that we've done in the past to put Pollard in the best position to get up the field.
Well,
but those, I don't understand. I was getting really upset with McCarthy.
I understand completely what it is. And, I mean, there's definitely a biggest difference. And I'm not trying to say it's Zeke Elliott, right? But you don't have that
Bell
running
cow.
back that's a bludgeon running back, right? So what Tony Pollard was really good at was a change. And he's a change of pace running back, right? So you have that person that's like beating you from the middle, beating you, just putting a pound on you, and then you have somebody with speed like Tony Pollard going on to the outside. It messes up the defense. It keeps the defense looking when you're near in the 21 personnel. Remember, we were talking about that last week when you're in have two running backs in the backfield and one tight end, two wide receivers. So you don't know whether it's going to be blocking you or they're going to pass it out to Tony Pollard. So they need to, and in order for Tony
I'm
to
gonna push back on you on that, Josh, because I don't think that having Pollard, I don't think Pollard being the second fiddle are back, because the same thing with Swift. Swift is their number one guy, and they have Scott for the Eagles. Scott as their quarterback guy, right? We have that with Donald. Donald is that Ezekiel Elliott. Once again, it's just like that I was saying earlier. It's play calling. It's like it almost like outside of the Chargers and the Rams game, which the offense is very stagnant. It looked like everything that we didn't like about Kellen Moore's offense was our offense in those first four games, right? But then everything afterwards in the kind of the Charger game and that definitely that Rams game, it looked like kind of what Kellen Moore's style was. So you allow it was more free flowing. It was more, let's get Pollard in open field. Let's get Pollard in there. But it's something that you got to put Pollard, like you said. Pollard can still start. Pollard, you just got to dial.
100%. That was not my point. Yeah. So that was not my point. So my point is, I mean, with the Eagles, right? As you said, you had your Swift. By the way, that dude's crazy good. So, but you had Swift, you had Scott, and then you had, and let's not forget Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts was their running back. Right? I mean, not running back, but there was designed runs for that. No disrespect to Jalen Hurts, but here's the thing.
He's still the best. He's still the highest paid running back in the league.
Okay, I mean, I agree, but I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I mean, unless you disagree, Dak Prescott, you want the honey poured all over you. That's another. So the thing is, to be successful, like Jordan and John was saying, you have to give other players, right, some touches. You're gonna have to give them more touches. In order for Tony Pollard still needs to be the golf pro, but give them more touches. So give them changes of pace, so that way Tony Pollard can be more successful. Give design runs to Dak Prescott, so Tony Pollard can be more successful. This is one of those things where the chicken or the egg, right? So, but you have to have these things in place so that way that they can be successful.
And it boils down to the game calling.
Look at Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is not a power back. He's a sideline gadget runner. But when Sean Payton was there, they utilized him in such a capacity of getting those design runs. In there, allowed him to be. Now, I think that's what falls into that. Right now, I would say kind of like Christian McCaffrey, but not the same because Christian McCaffrey tackles, but you see those design runs that allows Christian McCaffrey's speed and to excel. I think that is those play calls, those time play calls, is what needs to be dialed up for Pollard. So yeah.
Yeah, and the line not being that strong too. I mean,
that too.
It's got to. I mean, you can breaking tackles 3 yards deep in the backfield to start your run is not the way that you're going to be successful.
Not with Pollard. Not with Pollard.
Running backs don't have that problem.
Right. Not with Pollard.
Are making it through the first level, and then that's when they're worried about getting tackled. And Pollard is worried about, hey, can I just get back to the line of scrimmage before I have my first contact?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, he's not very good at the run blocking. I'm not saying that they're bad at it, but they're not as good as they should be.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I would have put it to the run blocking. I think it's the.
It might be
that's definitely true.
Yeah, I think it's what McCarthy is doing. You know what I'm saying? You can only ask me to do about so much in my put me in a position to win. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you put me up against a wall, I can't move it. You know what I'm saying? I just can't move it. But if you put me around it, because that's what I'm good at, do that. So that's
Yeah, well, Tony Pollard's strong. He's not the in between tackles type running back. He's more of a,
But I've seen him do it though. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, he is, but that's not like consistently. You need to give that to Rico Dowdle, right, or Malik Davis, right? So
not Deuce Vaughn, not Deuce Vaughn.
Because he's explosive, and a lot of times that will throw defense off. The old line's got that push, if they can get that push, but they haven't consistently been able to.
Right, and yeah, that's not the philosophy anymore. So
almost, I would say probably like 60% of his runs last year that will break down the field runs came out of the A or B gap. Where he was just shoot, first step, gone.
Right.
And they're looking, what?
But you know what? Speaking of the O-line, and we were talking about this earlier before we started, of our O-line, and the question that came up, is it time because of all of the injuries, is it time for Tyrone Smith to retire? That's because this dude is always, it's one thing you can count on is that dude being injured. So,
I will say this, right? Regardless of the play, if you take the first drive away from the Rams game, do you believe was there that much drop off from Chuma Edoga and Tyron Smith this year, right? How Tyron Smith was playing this year, was there that much drop off from Chuma Edoga? And if you don't think that there was that much drop off, then you're gonna have to seriously ask yourself that question.
But that just one game though, right? That just one game playing against that one.
Not just this one game. What other games where Chuma Edoga was playing, right? And they were winning the football game. And it seemed like, Chuma Edoga wasn't the best out there, but the O-line was still holding, right? It's not one of those top bills where, it was the Tyron Smith of old, where Dak Prescott doesn't even have to worry about his left side, right? He doesn't even have to worry about it. He can just stay on his left the whole entire time. Okay, maybe not that much, but he has more time in the pocket as far as the left side goes, right? It should be when you have Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith, right? And the way how Tyler Smith is playing, the left side should be great. But we've seen Tyron Smith get beat this year multiple times. And you can't really say that in the past couple of years. But this year, you've seen him getting beat more, I won't say more times than that, but you've seen him getting beat more times than usual. That's what I was saying. So I'm just saying this. Maybe that's a question you have to ask.
And with all that being said, Josh, your favorite, statistical, PFF, your favorite talking points that you like to bring up, they got him ranked 12th out of all 76 tackles.
Wow.
Tyron Smith.
Wow.
Like I always tell you, Josh, because you're super critical of our O-line, especially. Everyone's going to get beat. Tyron Smith is an older, not older in football. He's an older cat than he was, before 2 years. It was like even 2 years ago. But even 2 years ago, he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he was. He was.
But that just goes to tell you how bad or how hard it is to play left tackle. The talent pool at left tackle that Tyron Smith could still be the 12th best left tackle. He's 80% in pass blocking. His run blocking is at 67% out of everybody.
That says a lot.
All 76 tackles.
That says a lot.
I think we're overly critical. And yes, does he get injured? Yes, and that's probably what's hindering him. But even with all those injuries, I still am not putting Edoga over Tyler Smith.
Nobody said that. I said there's not that much drop off.
Well, no, that's pretty much what you're saying, Joshua. That's pretty much what you're saying.
I'm sorry. Tyler Smith can't get pushed to the outside. I'm not putting Edoga on the outside over Tyron. Like, for me, it's just not.
What about next year? What are you going to do with Tyron next year? Are you okay with Chuma Edoga being your left tackle?
Tyron Smith. I've been said that. But right now, where we're at in the season, no, I'm sticking with Tyron.
All right, John.
Out season, that's a whole different thing. right now, I'm just sticking with it.
John, you think he should retire or he should stay?
I think he should have retired 2 years ago. But here's the thing with offensive line in my mind is cohesiveness. And those guys are a team. They're basically one player. They all got to kind of work in unison. And with Tyron playing this week and then out 2 weeks, and then he doesn't practice all week, and then he might play if he practices on Saturday. To me, that's a lot of like juggling of who's going to be in the position. And I think you'd almost better to go with a lesser player, but someone who's practiced the whole week and knows exactly all the calls and everything else compared to, because it's not like he's on an island out there and he's only got one guy to block. They're passing off guys, they're picking up blitzes, they're doing all that. And if he and the guard beside him aren't in sync, our quarterback takes one big hit and in comes our backup. And this is a team that definitely can knock out a quarterback, even as big as Dak is. So, yes, am I a big, huge Tyron Smith fan? Absolutely. I wish my son was here because he got to meet him in the airport one time. So he was a super nice guy, just very humble. Kind of that big humble giant, but no one wants to mess with him because he's the biggest, baddest dude in the locker room kind of guy. So I love him. I think he's a Hall of Famer. He'll definitely be he'll be up on his name will be up on the
Definitely.
In the Ring of Honor.
Definitely.
But you gotta be there. And I think the offensive line to really sink and to really be successful for the long haul, you got to have the same five guys out there.
See, I believe that I can believe what you're saying. That cohesiveness and all of that makes a big difference. I do, but I'm in a mindset. I'm gonna put my best guy on the field at all times. So that's how I look at it. If Tyron Smith is healthy, there's no way somebody else is gonna be in front of him. Not today. You know what I'm saying? Unless he shows me that guy that I'm gonna put out in front of him will be a better at that position, then I'll do that. Or even the same at that position. But right now, if I get better protection on my left tackle with Tyron versus the what that guy named Idoka, I can't pronounce him out. Chuma, yeah. That I'm sorry. He gonna have to keep on learning from Tyron until Tyron physically retire. That's how I look at it. What you got, Jordan?
I'm with you there too, but as John was saying, like if you're gonna be there, right? The best ability, right? We all talk about it. It's availability. So
yeah, that's true.
You gotta be there so that we can be cohesive. I mean, they're doing a really good job right now. I mean, Tyron Smith is a pro. He's a veteran, so he's gonna know the concepts of once he practices this today and tomorrow. And I get it, right? But the thing about it is, the more time he practices, guess who's not practicing with the first team? Chuma and Doga, right? So it's still up in the air that he's if he's going to play or not, right? You want whoever's playing this game, you want them to have as many reps as possible. So if he is playing, right, if he is practicing, he needs to play, right? So that goes into cohesiveness too, right? And so especially this game that we're talking about, whoever's practicing needs to be starting, and from first snap to the last snap, right? Because you want to solidify that left side.
I hear that, and I can agree to it. But if my best player is here, he's going out on the field.
Right, 100%.
But I'm saying that no. But if it's not going out, yeah. I mean, not if it's a chance, but if he's not going to go, obviously you're not going to you're not going to put him out there.
Give him the practice reps.
Well, if he's not going to be in the practice rep, if he's like like his injury
last week, he was like a game day scratch. I mean, they were talking all week he was going to play, and then he didn't play. And now this week he hasn't practiced at all. So was he really that close to playing last week, or is that injury like a little bit more to it than we think? That's what.
So he did. So yeah, right. And I agree. There's a little bit of gamemanship in there too. But he did practice today. So that's one thing. Okay. He did practice today, and they're going to attempt to practice him tomorrow. Right.
Well, play him tomorrow.
The thing is, if you're uncomfortable with him playing. If you're like 40% that he plays, maybe sit him down, because that means if he's gonna go out there, he's gonna get hurt, right? So you want Chuma Doga to go out there and get as much reps as possible, and then cross our fingers. Right? But yes, Tyron Smith is the better player, right? And when healthy, you want Tyron Smith on there, right? But you just want that cohesiveness. You want to be able to pass off and run stoppers and pass and rushers as well. So you want them to do that as cohesive and as fluid as possible. And the only way for you to do that is practice. So that's just me.
Because I don't know. I remember what happened early in that first quarter versus the Rams. And I also remember what happened, what was it, like 2017 versus the Falcons? Where we
don't say it. Don't say Chad.
We switch out Tyron Smith, and we're a whole
different squad, right? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but that's a lot different, right?
Look, if we're not worried about cohesiveness with the O-line, then hey, I'll take that rather than having to go with the next guy. And hopefully, we build that as the season goes on. I mean, we're only at week 8. I think by the time we get to the playoffs, right? I feel like we'll have better cohesion on the O-line than we are right now. So, hey, I'm still running.
And that's why I say and that's why I say this, yeah. As much as first of all, I don't think that Chuma Doga is as bad as Chad Green, right? Chad Green just is like has makes my stomach crawl every time I say that name. But that's the reason why I would constantly start Terrence Steele, right? Because eventually he's going to get better. Like he's going to get better at the end of this year. I'm like almost 70 to 80% sure his knee's going to get better. He's going to play well, which is great though, because at that point people are still going to think that he's bad and he's going to get back more time to throw, and that opens up their offense even more. And so I can see the vision, right? But as far as the left side goes, if you're going to go in and out, right? I just think that you need to put whoever's at practice into the game. That's what I think. I think that we all can agree that Chuma Doga is a solid backup.
Okay. Oh, I can agree to that. Okay, but this is something that I also want to get to, because this is a thing that we discuss a lot, and we have a big, I won't say discrepancy of being across the board what we think. But so, John, one thing that we always talk about is who is better at the quarterback position, and we have different feelings around here. Who is better between Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott? So I'm gonna have to ask you, man. I'm gonna have to say, because you are a true Dallas fan, and if you were sitting in our office right now as a GM right now today, and trade came across your desk, Jalen Hurts for an even swap with Dak Prescott right now, are you taking it?
I'm staying with Dak. I think the upside of him is the same. He's a runner first and a passer second. And as we have seen in this league, I don't care how fast you are, they can catch you. And running quarterbacks, they just got a very short shelf life. And I think Dak is a pass first and run when I have to kind of guy. Even when he came in the league, I felt like he was a pass first and a run when I need to kind of guy. I think he's a much better pocket passer. I think both of them are probably equal leadership-wise. I think both of their teams respect them. The coaches respect them. They both seem to be good kids. They got all that kind of stuff going for them. But just straight, who do I think can win games for me? I think I'd go with Dak. And I definitely think if Dak were standing behind the Philadelphia offensive line, his numbers would be a lot different than Jalen Hurts' numbers are right now, because with that kind of protection, yeah, he and that receiving core and that running game, I think you would see a much different Dak Prescott as far as the numbers go. I think he's done very well for what's been put in front of him.
considering that. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a wholesale change in offense, but you got to get used to a new offensive coordinator, basically, with the head coach doing it. But they seem to, for whatever reason, in that bye week, they seem to found a little something. I hope it looked like they did, because I saw CeeDee Lamb get 12 balls thrown at him last week. So it's always a good thing to get the ball to your best players. So, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with Dak on that one. I take a pass on that trade.
Yeah, okay, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff because I believe it the same way you do. Not all of us believe that, but but I do.
I'm
Okay.
never taking Jalen Hurts over that. I'll never do
Right. Me neither. Okay, but now you heard three of us speak. You probably know. You probably can sing it out. Who believe that?
Trade back for Lamar Jackson this offseason. Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl. I would still never trade for it.
No, because Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl and Dak haven't. But
No, I still wouldn't trade.
Me neither. But I get it. But not all of us believe that way. But that is funny.
You trade Josh? Josh, you trade? You trading?
I mean, I'm just looking at the future. That's all I'm looking at. I'm looking at the future. I just feel like, one person has 5 years in the league while the other person has, 10 years, whatever like that. And you can tell, right? Dak can be more accurate.
No, give me a clear answer, bro. Who you saying you would trade Dak for Jalen Hurts?
I mean, if it's for this year, right? If we were talking about this year, no. If we're talking about in the future years,
that was not even the question. The question was today.
It depends. This is depends. It depends. Jalen Hurts is a really good quarterback.
Who would you rather have for your quarterback for this game? For the Dallas Cowboys, Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott?
100% Dak Prescott. 110% Dak Prescott. All right?
So you're not going to do
that. Yes.
Right.
So, yes, 100%. I think Dak Prescott, and you can tell. You can tell, like, some of the throws that he makes, some of it, like, it's.
Look, and I will say this too. And also, creature of habits, looking at the past to see the future. Dak has always been accurate from day one to now. He's always been accurate. Outside of, he threw a lot of picks last year. That wasn't necessarily the case coming in. Jalen Hurts, and even with, them not opening up the playbook to Dak, Dak was, what they say, a great game manager. What does a great game manager do? Is accurate and does not throw the ball away. You couldn't say the first. People were questioning Jalen Hurts in his first year. I think his passing completion was like 55%.
Right.
Like he didn't come into the league as a great accurate passer. He wasn't known for being an accurate passer. And all I know is that quarterbacks are playing until they're 40 nowadays. If I had to guess, if I'm just going based on trajectory of Dak, I'm going to lean towards he's going to stay being accurate and being in this league, being at least at minimum a game manager type of player. I'm going to roll with Dak. I don't care how many years. I don't care that Jalen Hurts is 5 years younger than that. I'm in my mind. I don't think Jalen Hurts will ever be able to catch up to Dak in that sense.
Okay, all right. Now check this out. Before we go, because we about to go out. We about to go out. So before we go, Jordan, since you own there, Jordan, so we got to do this before we go. Give me the score. Talking to Jordan. Give me the score. Who wins?
2017.
2017. Who? 2017 who? 2017 Cowboys.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Joshua, what you got?
Well, I'm gonna stick with what I said before, right?
Hey, just go and say it, man. Just go and say it.
Yeah, I got Philadelphia winning this game, right? I just don't think. I want to stick to it, right? I just don't think that.
So then that means, hold on. So that means, to me, this game, it means everything for our season. Our season is on the line with this game. So you're telling me, okay, go ahead.
Yes, and this is that. I mean,
Go ahead. Okay. Look.
Exactly what I think about this front office.
Look, man, give me a score. Give me a score, and who wins? That's all I'm asking.
So I forgot what I said before. So it was, I think it was 20. I think it was 27-13. That's what I had. Or 31-13.
You want Jalen Hurts and you.
Okay, you say
27-13.
27-13 Philly. That's what you're saying.
Philly, 13 Cowboys. I just think they're going to struggle this game. I think the defensive line is going to take advantage of.
Wow.
They're struggling
Wow.
with the game, and they're going to take
We didn't talk about their corners. We didn't talk about their corners. The corners are atrocious. Those Eagles corners are not the best corners. It's gonna look. CD's gonna eat. It's gonna look like how it was versus the Rams. And
You know what makes those corners look a lot better? When you have a stout defensive line.
And so did the Rams. And so did the Rams.
That's right. Okay, John, give me a score, and who wins?
Wow.
I would never pick Philly. They're a basketball team, they're a baseball team, they're a football team, they're a hockey team. I would never pick them to win anything. So it's all Dallas. Give me 27-24 us.
27-24 us.
What is the spread for Sunday? Does anybody know what the spread is?
Spread for Sundays, you got Cowboys at +3. What was the spread? The over/under, I believe.
Well, they do that because Philly's at home.
6. Yeah, and Philly is at home, so.
That's an even game. That's an even game.
The league, what everybody thinks we are, everybody thinks they are, to only be 3-point underdogs. I think that shows a little respect for us.
Except for Joshua.
Well,
Until proven otherwise, I have no respect for this. Until proven otherwise. Until proven otherwise. Yeah, I think this team is going to struggle.
People way too much respect on the Eagles. To me, the Eagles have one good win this season. Even though I said so, they had one good win, and that was the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Right? And other than that, everybody's been in the game.
yeah.
And the Commanders should have won that game. They came and did it because I don't know, quarterback made it. He came back and threw another touchdown. If they would have got that kick return back.
I want you to take that speech and I want you to give it to the team because I don't know if they.
Hey, one thing we didn't talk about was our special teams has been ranked out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got those guys playing, and we can get something cheap on special teams. Okay, be the difference.
That's right.
Yes. So I mean, hopefully Barkley turns to stay in the end zone this game. I don't want him to try to run it back.
Yeah, let's not try.
Just let him stay in the end zone. That was cool.
Let that boy run.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Unless if it's like not within the 15-yard line. If it's like within if it's like a 30 to 25, then yes, run it. But do not run it and it's a booming ball and you're like, I'm just gonna run out of the end zone.
Yeah, 9 yards deep. Just stay where you're at.
Yes. Yeah. Stay where you're at. That's all. Yeah. That's all we need. Stay where you're at and you'll be fine.
I can't believe you got to keep it on.
Yeah, 27-13. That's a beatdown. But that's okay. We did it good again today. So here we are, setting it straight with fam, with the guest, John P. We're going to do it again next week, right after this game. Hopefully, we can get together. And I don't know if Joshua's going to be here and he's going to talk about this because he's going to be wrong. Do you hear me? Wrong, I said. So if this is your first time here, I need you to go ahead on and look at that subscribe button. Hit that like button, and we're going to do it again. We're going to do it like we always do it. And that is, how about them Cowboys? That's right. Hey!